Hi, I'm Andrew Davis from Gramophone. Today we're going to take a tour of an amazing home theater that we are just completing. I'd like to show you all the design, engineering, and planning that goes into creating a perfect masterpiece like you see behind me. Let's dive in. So Gramophone actually builds, designs, and advises on construction of theaters. We can actually handle the construction all in-house or just provide the gear and installation services for your theater. So what we're going to cover today in this theater is the 155-inch Stewart Directors Choice Screen behind me, the Sony 4K Laser projector hidden above, how we actually went through planning the ventilation to hide that projector away. And as you see, you don't see any speakers in this theater. But beware, there's a full Dolby Atmos system that's hidden behind the screen, acoustical panels, and in the painted ceiling above. We'll also take a look at how we plan risers, so actually the seating, to make sure that sight lines and throw distances, everything are correct. Additionally, we're going to take a look at the lighting and how lighting should be designed and laid out in a theater. So with that, let's start over here with the actual screen. So before you rush out to buy a projector and screen, please know that lots of design, engineering, and planning went into creating this space. Typically, we're brought in with an existing space that a customer is renovating, or we're dealing with a new construction space like this was. The builder on this particular project gave us a called out dimension of where the theater was to go. We had to work backwards with that square footage and determine how many seats were we trying to fit into the space, ultimately what screen size was ideal, and what kind of projector would we need to create such a beautiful flat panel-esque image like I have behind me in this theater. We have a 155-inch Stewart film screen Directors Choice Screen. Now this screen is incredibly special because it has motorized masking that comes from the top, bottom, and sides, so that you're never dealing with those annoying black bars that sometimes you see on your flat panel TV or in other theater rooms. So depending on the type of film you're watching or content, you can actually have areas of the screen where you don't have an image. Not the case with this theater. So this movie here, if I press play, right now I'm full screen on the image, but when I go to play it, what will ultimately happen is you're going to see bars on the top and bottom. Now, wait for this. We can actually change the screen configuration with the push of one button to match the content that's on the screen. How great is that? This screen is actually perforated. There's lots of holes all throughout it. What that enables us to do is place the speakers behind the screen and the sound comes through. Why that's an amazing concept is when someone's talking, the dialogue is coming right from the image versus above or below. So it's very realistic and lifelike as you're watching movies. Another cool thing is we don't have any big box subwoofers in this room, and that's because there's two of them built into the wall. Commonly, customers will put some AV equipment and things like that below here, but we actually have our subwoofers vented through the left and right hand side. So as we start to figure out what's the right projector for the performance of your theater and ultimately your budget, it's important to understand that all projectors are not made equal. So as we dig into projectors, their specifications and their capabilities, to dumb it down, they're either a good flashlight, a basic flashlight, or a really awesome flashlight. And these projectors, they've gotten so good. The Sony that we've hidden up here in this cove built into a coffer, this is actually a 4K laser projector. What that means is you'll never have to change the lamp or the bulb in this. It's actually a laser. These are generally good for over 20,000 hours of viewing, which is just, that's awesome. As we're planning theaters, the most common thing that I tend to see is I'm entering an existing theater with a customer is a projector that's just mounted above someone's head. The challenge with that is when you stand up from a seat, you could actually hit your head on the projector, or you're hearing the hum, the buzz, and the fan of a projector, which can really take away from the movie experience that you're watching. So what we like to do is figure out how can we get that projector, if possible, out of the space. Sometimes we'll actually locate it outside the room or enclosed like we have here so that you don't see the body of the projector. Now, you can't just take a heat source like a projector and bury it in a ceiling. We actually have cooling systems built in above to ventilate the heat out into a different area. So it's temperature driven, and the fans will shut off once the projector temperature and the space temperature has cooled down. So if you don't have the room to do a projection system like this, that's okay. We sell 100-inch flat panel TVs, short throw projectors, and lots of options to work with any space that you can throw at us. You'll see that right now this theater actually accommodates 15 motorized theater seats. These theater seats are arranged in such a way so that the person behind you is not staring at the head and doesn't have a direct sightline obstruction of the person in front of them. So when we're laying out risers and advising or building a theater for our customers, people don't think about the depth that you need in a riser to actually fully recline your theater seat, potentially move around it, or to not fall off the back of a riser. So depth is important, as well as the height of a riser. As we're looking at heights, certain codes are going to require steps. It's always a good idea that we build in step lights or lighting to identify steps. But the cool thing about this theater space is we actually had the ability to build a pit. So we were able to do 3 tiers of seating, 5 seats in each row, and then we've got a bar top back here that we actually have bar stools, and people can stand back here with their beverage or food and relax. So we've really created 4 tiers of seating within this space that can accommodate over 20 people very comfortably. You'll notice that this customer decided to have separated theater seats, so everyone has an arm and cup holder for their seating position. Kind of the worst thing that can happen is you flip a lever and your legs go flying up, and you have to push out and stabilize yourself there. You get a good core body exercise, but it's not very comfortable. So a motorized theater seat does not cost much more than a manual, but it's far more accommodating and comfortable because you can have your feet come out to a specific leg distance without having to be fully reclined or fully inclined. So theater seats, we offer lots of different styles for every budget and lots of different configurations, but that's the fun in the process of working with Gramophone. Gramophone also assists with the acoustics in a room. We need to properly plan the room to ensure that we're keeping sound in the room and not impacting other spaces. Perhaps you have kids' bedrooms in adjoining rooms or other areas that you really don't want to have bass rumbling throughout. As we're laying out the theater, we're going to look at the room construction. We're going to look at how the riser is built. We have systems that actually allow us to really build a room within a room to allow the sound to not impact these other areas. Now you'll notice behind me, we've got acoustical panels. These are not just cosmetic. While they look great, these are staggered throughout the room. We have absorptive and diffusive panels that are all wrapped in the same material so that they look uniform throughout. But this will actually help deaden the room and make it so that the sound system that you elect to buy sounds real and authentic, and we're not getting weird sound anomalies throughout the space. So definitely want to pay important attention to detail when planning the acoustics of a room as well. As they say, lights, camera, action. Lighting is a critical part of any space. You know, what you don't want to do is have one switch where your lights are on and off. Being able to provide layers of light that allow you to have walking paths, some lights in a space that optimize the projector. So with most projectors, when you turn the lights on, it tends to wash out the screen. So if we could have some sconces on the wall or a fiber optic lit ceiling like the one above me, definitely adds ambiance to the space, provides some background lighting. So if you need to get up to grab that popcorn or drink, you're not doing it in the dark. So in this space, we can actually operate all the lighting from the Crestron handheld remote that I have in my hand. We could do it from a phone, iPad, or the Lutron lighting keypad that is in the back of the room. Another great detail that the designer called out on this project was tape lighting that's built into every column. It wraps it and provides a gorgeous detail that allows us to automate the lights just on the columns. So by having these layers of lights, we can light just the ceiling, the overhead recessed lights, we can take the lights just off the theater screen, we can leave the lights on just for the steps so that you have a safe walking path. One big misconception that we get with theaters is that they're just for watching movies. The customer can come in here and stream content from their Apple TV. You'll notice that we've got Kaleidescape, which is the best 4K HDR content that's available. So when you're buying a great television that's the highest resolution or projector, what source you give it is everything. So whether you're hooking up a Blu-ray player, a game system, an Apple TV, a Roku, or something like the Kaleidescape experience, that's critical because the source and the projector and what you see on screen, it all has to tie together and be top-notch. Otherwise, your image is going to be very, very lackluster. So with that, we can hook up cable boxes, direct TV boxes. This can be for watching a football game, a sporting event, regular TV viewing, or streaming a movie from Kaleidescape, which is just over the top. It looks and sounds incredible. So as you can see behind me, this is actually the IT server room that feeds the whole house. We've chosen to take all the theater equipment and bury it in here because there's really no need once it's set up and programmed to interface with it. It all can be done from the Crestron Automation system. Jesse, the lead technician on this project, is working on our wire management, labeling all the wires. We'll go through and dust everything out, and then we go through a full calibration to make sure that once the theater equipment, the chairs, and all of the acoustics are mounted and hung in the room, that it all ties together seamlessly. So grab your favorite beverage and get your popcorn ready. Whether you're looking for the perfect home theater experience for one or for many, Gramophone has you covered. Start your journey today at gramophone.com. Fill out a web inquiry and one of our advisors will be in touch with you very promptly. Or visit our locations conveniently located in Hunt Valley, Timonium, Columbia, and Gaithersburg, Maryland. We make it super simple. From soundbar to custom cinema, we've got you covered. Thanks for joining me today.